I just removed the hood to clean up some parts back here. Upon cleaning up back here, you can see back in this corner, we have a little nest. So we're gonna have to clean this up, get this out of here. Hopefully they haven't caused any issues if it is mice with wiring or anything. I know they like to chew connectors and stuff, but we're gonna get this out of here. This back section here is all cleaned up all the way across. I got that nest out of the quarter out of there. So this part right here, this trim piece is good to put back on. Welcome back to the channel. I'm kind of waiting for a couple parts to be able to do some things on this car. I still need a couple parts for the front bumper to be able to put this piece back together here. Once I get that, I'll be able to get everything fitted and seated properly. I'm also waiting for some pins for the hood to put the weather strip on. Once I get that, I'll be able to get all of my lines hopefully as even as I can. Get the body lines nice, get the headlights aligned properly in here, and seal down this fender and bolt everything in place. So while we're waiting for all these parts to do that, one of the things I wanted to work on was the engine bay in here. So if you look way down in there, you can actually see a little bit. There's a bunch of there's like a rat's nest or a bunch of debris that's in here by these injectors all underneath this fuel rail. And I want to get in there and clean all that. And the only way to get to it is going to be to remove this, I guess this, the intake or the fuel rail, whatever it is that I need to remove back here to be able to pull this off and get access in there so that way I can get a vacuum and clean all that out. There was already one nest over there in the corner once I took this rear piece off. I don't know if that's from the same thing or not, but we're gonna work on this today. So I'm gonna see what I need to do to remove some of these wires, get them out of the way, and give us access to be able to get just a little shop vac in here and clean that out. Now we're going to take these hoses that come onto the intake, get these out of the way. There are a couple clamps here that you will need to, looks like, undo just in order to get them out of the way. But these clamps are pretty easy. You just push on one side here. So we're going to push on this bottom side, and that's going to allow this to release. And then you're just going to pull it. So push up, pull it off, comes right off. And then the other one goes over here to this intake pipe. So this is going to be your other one. So just a clamp you're just going to need to loosen, pull this up, and then you can get this hose right off. Next, I'm going to remove this piece right here. This is what goes to the injectors and holds these injectors down. So I'm probably going to have to undo each one of the injectors too as well. They're just 10mm bolts on each one, and then these just pull right out. And then we also have this one right here holding this piece in, and I think another one right here. And then we'll see what else is in there. You can already start to see we're getting a little bit better access already just by moving around a couple hoses, and that's kind of what I'm talking about right in here. It's right around those injectors is where all this debris and carnage is in there. We'll just pull these right on out, wiggle them back and forth, and then they will release. There's one. I'm just gonna remove these spark plugs out of the way, pull these all the way out. And there's quite a bit of grime underneath these too. I'm just going to clean these up with a vacuum really quick. I don't want any of this debris getting inside of these spark plugs. So let's get these moved out of the way and get them cleaned up. While these are out, we're going to go ahead and take a look and pull the spark plugs on these. and just take a look at them and see what they look like, see if they're dark or colored incorrectly. So we're just going to take a peek and see what we got going on in here. I'm also looking to see if there's a head gasket blown, because I don't know anything about this car. I don't see any fluid in the head for any one of these spark plugs, so all of them do seem to be dry, which is a good start. So we're just going to start with the first one over here, take this out and take a quick peek at it. Spark plugs are now out. Here is what they look like. As we can see, they are a little bit dark on the bottom. Now, these spark plugs are good for around 30,000 miles is what they say for this turbo. And these are the NGKs, so these are just the factory ones that were in here. I do plan on swapping these out, so I already have a new set for these that I'm gonna put in here. And I'm also probably gonna be replacing the wires too as well. I think this car may have a misfire. I'll know a little bit more once I do kind of like a first startup and run through for sure, just to verify that. But I just wanted to take a peek at these. To get this piece out of the way right here, we have, so this is one of the longer bolts there. There's a shorter one right there. And then, so this top piece right here, if you follow this wire, this will snake down to this little piece right here off the intake. This will just pull right off pretty easily. So now this piece is off. We'll get this out of the way. This just goes underneath your hose here. Pull this under. It's a little latch that it's on for the timing cover right here. I'll need to get this clip off with just a screwdriver. Or, oh, nope, there we go. So this is off now. Let's get it out of there. Just trying to get this out of the way. So now what we're gonna need to do is take off these harness clips back here. So it looks like there's going to be 4 of these harness clips, so this yellow tab is going to pull up. I'll need to get a screwdriver, pull up this yellow tab, and then you should be able to release this clip and pull on this in order to get these off. And that'll allow us to hopefully move this a little bit more out of the way so we can get more access to this back part right here. Once you have these yellow tabs pulled up like I just showed you, you have this black piece right here that the yellow tab was resting on. So this piece pushes in now. So you'll push this in and then you'll just pull up on this clip and it will release just like that. I now have this whole entire wiring harness right here pulled off to the side. Same thing, I have all my spark plug boots right here. This is where the injectors were. And if we take a look down in here, you can see we're making some good progress. And we're almost right to where we need to be. I might just try to remove a couple more things out of the way here, and then we should pretty much be able to get a little shop vac in there and clean up this area a little bit. We're gonna try to get in here just with the little vacuum hose here, kind of see what we can get out and remove, see if it gets in there far enough before we go ahead and tear apart anything else. I just don't want to risk breaking anything or getting this debris into any of the fuel injectors or any area it's not supposed to be. So let's go ahead and fire this up and see if we can clean it out. I am going to remove this little piece right here smack dab in the middle. I can't get in this middle section here with this in the way. So it looks like there's a gray tab right here. So I'm gonna push this and try to pull this up and we'll see if this releases. So now I have pretty much everything cleaned up. This is as good as I'm gonna get it. I'm not gonna worry about taking this fuel rail off or anything. This is where we're gonna leave it at. While I do have spark plugs out, I just covered these so that nothing would get inside of them while I was cleaning up that area. We are gonna go ahead and swap out the old plugs since they don't look the greatest. Here they are. I do have another set here. These are the NGK plugs here. There's the part number for you. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna swap these in the car, and it might run a little bit better now with these in, I'd imagine. I also do want to replace the spark plug boots. I'll have to get another set ordered, a high performance set. I think that will help too. but it does sound like there may be a little bit of a misfire, so we'll get into diagnosing that a little bit later. For the gap on these plugs here, you want these to be about 0.025. That's what they recommend according to the Dart Madness website and also the forums. They say to gap these at 0.025. So what we're gonna do for that is I have my tool right here to test them. As you can see, there's all these numbers all the way around. 0.030, 0.025 is gonna be on this top right corner right here. This is what we want to fit inside of what's called the electrode gap right here. So we want to be able to try and fit that little terminal inside of this gap right here, and we want it to fit just perfectly in order for this to be the correct gap that we're looking for of that 0.025. Now if we take this and our little tool here, so 0.025, we're gonna take it, it's gonna be this electrode right here, and we're gonna fit it right in between this gap right there. And it does fit. It actually fits pretty snug, which is about what we're looking for. If it was any looser, then we would have to tighten this up, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So we'll try the next size up. This is 0.030 just to see if it fits. So we'll take it, put it in, and as we can see, this will not go in all the way, which tells me that it's smaller than 0.030, and the 0.025 does fit in there. So that's what we're looking for. I will tighten this up just a little bit because I think it could fit a little bit snugger. You want this when it fits in to be like just perfectly the right size. So we're gonna tighten this up, and to do that, we're going to take this end right here, put this on the top of the spark plug here. So it'll be just like that. And we're going to bend this down, so downward. So I'm gonna pull this way and also hold the spark plug so that way we can get this gap a little bit tighter in here. So we're just gonna pull this down. I'm gonna do this off camera just because you gotta be careful doing this. And then we'll come back. Once you've did that, we'll check our gap again, see if we need to open it more or tighten it more. So right now, 0.025 still fits in there. We'll tighten it up a little bit more. And once you get this to the gap of your liking, then you can go ahead and do that to the rest of them. Now that I have all these spark plugs gapped to where I want them, we're gonna take a little bit of this spark plug boot protector grease, and we're gonna put some of this just on the tip of this spark plug right here all the way to where this black part ends. That'll help get the boot sliding on there, and it'll also ensure a proper connection too as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that here. Go around the top part of it here, and also get a little bit on this white part too as well. Just like so. We're gonna go ahead and drop these into the cylinders one at a time here. So let's go ahead and do that. Now we're just gonna go ahead and tighten these in. Grab your spark plug socket, put it in the hole. Make sure to get over the top of your spark plug. And I always like to tighten left first, so go counterclockwise in order for it to seat properly. And then we'll go ahead and turn to the right. So just lightly tighten this up here. And we're just gonna get this finger tight, and then we'll go ahead and torque everything down together. These are gonna get torqued to 14 foot-pounds. So I have my torque wrench here. We'll go ahead and set this down in here, and we're gonna torque each one of these to 14 foot. Spark plugs are all in properly now. So the rest that we have to do is just go ahead, button everything back up, make sure everything is connected back where it was once we just took it off, and then this will be all set to go. Everything's back on. Now we're just gonna go ahead, tighten everything down, and make sure it's all good. These coil packs right here, So I'm just gonna hand tighten every single one of these first, and then we're gonna go over these and torque these down and get these to spec too. Lastly, we'll just go ahead and connect our battery here. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next upcoming videos. I'm not going to start this car up yet, but I will be starting this up very shortly just to see what we got going on with it. And we'll do a whole entire walkthrough again and see what we have to do from there. But stay tuned for the next video.